Everyone takes smartphone photos. Everyone knows how to take smartphone photos, including you. But what makes your photos special and stand out? What makes your photos scroll stop? Everyone is doing photos on social media. But how do you make your photos or your product photos stand out from everyone else in the market? Today I'm going to share with you some of the tips that you can put into practice to ensure that your pictures are standing out of competition, that you are standing out from anyone else who gets a phone and takes photos. Today I'm going to show you some of the settings and what you need to consider to make a great and perfect picture for your product business like this one here. I am Carol and I help product-based businesses create authentic content for their social media or content marketing efforts. And to start with, I'm going to show you how you can use your phone, any smartphone that is over. You need a smartphone that is a minimum of 13 megapixels, but it can go higher. Any phone, be it an iPhone, an Android phone, any phone. We have been so told that a specific phone X is the phone that they use to take good quality images. Oh no, things have changed. Things have changed. You can use any photo, any phone that you have, as long as it is above 13, and it can give you the very best quality photo, as long as you know the settings that you need to implement, and you also know exactly how to edit those photos. You'll get a photo that is scroll stop, that will compete and make you stand out on social media. I have changed to my artificial lights. I thought I would use the natural lights, but they are failing. The natural light is failing me. At the time I'm shooting this, the sun varies, like the light, it gets dark and it gets light, so I decided to go back to my artificial lights. So in case you see a variation in the exposure of the video, that's why. If you already have that phone, then let's dive into the exact things that you need to consider. My tip number one is you need to have enough lighting. Like you see, I've changed. Now I'm a bit more clear. You need to have enough lighting for your products. Some people were asking me, like, how do you shoot with without natural lights? Maybe you're shooting with artificial lights, or you're shooting at night. How do you place your lights? In most cases, you place your product in the opposite direction of your lights. If these are the lights, and this is your product, so if these are the lights, of course you put your product in the opposite direction. Then you who is taking the photo, where do you stand? You stand on the side of the light, so that you take the photo on the opposite side. So the light comes from this side, it bounces off. Also, if it's harsh or it's at night, the lights will bounce on your product and the shadow will be at the back. Or in case you want a cinematic kind of photo, you will place the lights on the side and maybe you stand in front of your product. Yes, so when the lights are on the side, or this side in front, on the sides, the shadow will be on the sides. Like if the light is on this side, the shadow will be on the opposite side. So it depends on where you want the shadow to be. But if you don't want any shadow, put the lights in the opposite direction of the product and you stand under the lights or the side of the lights, so that the shadow is behind your product. You need to ensure that you have enough light. If you don't have enough light, or you're taking with day sunlight, which is very good for people who are starting out and you don't have maybe artificial lights, you can use the natural light. If the natural light is not enough or it is very harsh, it is advisable that you shoot your products either in the morning or in the evening, since there the sun is a bit like warm and it is constant, it's not changing like it has been doing to me. So if the sun or the day sun is very harsh, you place, when you're taking the photo, you can increase exposure of your photo or you can reduce the exposure of your photo depending on what you exactly want. But in most cases, to save you a lot of time in editing, you need to expose your photo very well so that when it comes to editing, it is a walkover. Like, you have to do little in editing since the product is already exposed and it has enough light. Other thing that many people do not consider is the frames. The phone camera has a frame. You can take photos in a square form, you can take photos in a rectangle form, you can take photos in a 3x4 form. So on top of your camera, like on top here, when you're taking your photos, you need to always, like, you need to know exactly where am I going to post these photos. If you're creating photos for Instagram, it is very important for you to shoot in 3x4 frames. It is that size, that is the size for the Instagram post photo. But if you are creating a photo for maybe reels, nowadays people post reels as just a photo. If you want your photo to be posted as a reel or a TikTok, you will need to shoot in 9x16 frames. That is the rectangle, like it is long. Like those videos, the reels are a bit longer than the posts on Instagram. I hope you have seen that. So there you shoot in 9x16. And if you want your photo to be in a square form, you will need to shoot in a 1x1. But in most cases, vendors do not consider where they are going to post the photo, so they just pick up their camera or their phone and just take photos. They do not know which frames do I need to use. So you will find someone has posted the photo as a reel, and they took the photo in form of a square. That will be a disservice to your brand or your product. Before you shoot, it is very important to first clean your camera so that you prevent creating blurry photos. If the camera is it has some dust or some parts that have sticked on the camera lens, it's going to produce for you very quality photos. Even if you follow all the tips that I will mention in this video, it will not give you that best photo. So before you do anything, ensure that your camera is clean. You can get a cotton cloth that is very soft and you clean it gently, not scratching it, because when you use a lot of energy, you might end up scratching the lens, and when you scratch the lens, still it will disturb you as you go on. The quality of photo of the same phone for a lens that is not scratched and yours that is scratched will be so much different. So always ensure that you have a clean lens. Yeah. The other thing is have a stand. There is something that is called camera shake. Like, there are some people who can't settle and their phone, their hands are a bit vibrating. So if you're taking photos, it's very important at least you find like a tripod, or you find something that you can rest your hands on so that you are stable. Immediately your phone is a bit vibrating or shaking, it will affect the quality of your photo. It will create a blur, which is not good, and even if you do editing, still it won't come out well. So you need to get a stable place where you can put your phone, and it's very stable in one place so that it's easy for you to focus and take the picture immediately. In most cases, the other tip that people neglect, or some people do it maybe because they do not know or they have not done research or something, but some people, they tend to shoot with the front camera of their phones, and they think the front camera or the selfie camera is the same as the back camera. So here is the thing: in most cases, all phones have, the back camera has more megapixels, or it can create a more clear image than the front camera, that is called a selfie camera, because the back camera doesn't have any congestions at the back here. Like, there is only the camera and the light, and yet here or in front, we have a lot going on. We have the lights, the volume, like there is a lot of congestion here. So you find the camera in front is like maybe other side, or there are other things here on top. So it's very important that you always use the back camera to get that quality photo. You can use the front camera when situations are at the extreme. The other tip is, at most times, make sure that your background or where you're shooting your product is very organized. You can use maybe backdrops. If you are a starter and you can't access like real backdrops, it's advisable at least you get a manila chart or a wall or a table that is very organized and the place is clean, so that your product, you don't get disturbances with maybe dirty spots on the wall or something. If you can't access maybe a clean wall or a clean tiles to start with, it would be very advisable, because manila charts are very cheap. Like they're very cheap, and you can get it at the stationery. Then you use it to shoot your products. So the manila chart is clean, like back and front. You can use it for more than once, or you can use it once and then you can get another one. But if you can afford a backdrop that is maybe PVC, for it it's even washable after using it, and there is that has remained, you can easily wash it and keep it for future use. But it is important that you take from an organized place, and to avoid any distractions from the person who is looking at your photo, it is advisable for you to zoom out. When you hold on your photo like this, you can zoom out or zoom in. Zoom in, so that you can zoom in, but to the maximum you can zoom in is supposed to be 2. Immediately you go above 2, the photo becomes blurry. So you need to zoom in. 2 is the maximum. You can do 1.9, 1.5, like that helps you to fill the entire screen with your product. You bring the product closer so that it fills the entire screen. Then you take your photo, instead of taking it from afar, and then you'll have to go to edit, and then you need to first crop out that dirty wall that was all some items that were popping in your scene. When you zoom out, you cut off those distractions that will come with it, and you make your image the center of the entire photo. The tip, and the last tip, is that you need to test with different angles of shooting. You can shoot with different angles, but for you to get the best out of it, you need to test with the different camera angles. What are the different camera angles? You could have heard of these, or you have done them, but in most cases You find people that use one angle, and that's okay with them. But for you to get the real best, you need to try out with different things to see to it that you are getting the best angle possible. So the different angles, there is what they call the bird's eye view. The bird's eye view is when, like, if this is your product, and it is already down here, then you take from up. That is the bird's eye view. So the camera, you can lay your products on the surface or on the ground here. So you take from up, that is like the vertical. That's the bird's eye view. Then there is the human eye view, like you come to the level of where the product is, and then you take on the same horizontal angle. It's called, at times it's called the 90-degree angle, like 90 degree. If this is my product, I take from here, like where I can see it with my eyes. That's the eye view. Then also you can, if the product is here, you can decide to take from a bit low so that you get the item like appearing high. And these different angles have different meanings, and there is a way they make the viewer of the product feel about the product, which I will go into in my next video. Please watch out for it. In case you have not yet subscribed, please do subscribe, because in my next video I'm going to talk about the different angles that you can take your photo from, and what the different angles make, what they mean, and how the viewer perceives your product when you take them from certain angles. When you're styling your products, ensure that you are using at least a minimum. You need to use so many props, because if you're using so many props and you're a beginner, you don't know how to style those props, your products will be looked at as amateur photos. You need to use like a maximum of like 2 props to style your products. You can use flowers, you can use leaves, you can use different things, towels, cups and plates and everything, to ensure that you bring out the best quality photo to make your brand outstanding and competitive in the online space. So if you reached this far of the video, I would like to appreciate you and hope you picked a thing or two. If you did, please let me know in the comment section, and also let me know what you would want me to talk about next. See you in the next video.